single flame can light a million more.
Man, what a fun day. I've been out shooting skip all day long. It's been fun. Well, John here is, here's your little joker box. Now let me give everybody some history here. So I come forth into the radio world for the second time in my little life. And I decide I'm going to try and build amps for everybody else. Now, not having a lot of experience, and we're talking 5-6 years ago now. Not having a lot of experience and nobody knowing who I am, and God, how could anybody from Idaho ever know anything about building an amplifier? Because we all know that only amplifier builders live back east. I got drug up on a forum page called Mall Droppers 5-6 years ago. Trust me, this will all tie together with this box here in just a minute. Got drug up on a forum page here about 5-6 years ago. And boy, did those boys have fun at my expense. Woo! But then again, that's the kind of forum that you go on to get treated like shit and told you don't know nothing just so other people can feel empowered about themselves. You know? The kind where 4 or 5 people stand around all day and say, well, I know something and you don't, so therefore I'm better than you. Which, in my opinion, when a group of men stand around and do that with each other, they're trying to pretend like they're still in junior high, giving each other one-way hand jobs. You know the Dutch rudders? So I'm not a big fan of people that act or conduct or even think like that. Because if you got a question and you know the answer in the radio world, you should tell that other person, that fellow human being, help them, build them up, make them stronger, not tear them down to empower yourself to make yourself feel better like you're smart or intelligent. That's not how any of this works. So anyhow, a couple thousand Mall Dropper posts later, here I stand today. Thank you, gentlemen, for motivating me to move forward and become better. Because that's really all you did. Now, the reason I bring all that up is because the gentleman that owns and operates Mall Droppers used to build amplifiers, I guess. This is one of his amps. Now, that man has been nothing but super hypercritical of every single thing I've ever done. And we're talking thousands and thousands of posts and comments, belittling, tearing down, and making fun of me, my business, and my personal life, and my wife, and my kids. And yeah, good on you, Mall Droppers, way to help other people out. All that aside, I'm not that kind of man. This would be my opportunity where I stand here and tear other people down and try to make myself feel important or that I know more than the next guy. Y'all know me by now, that's not the way I play. This is John's little 2x6. This is kind of a neat box, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due. The craftsmanship on this thing, for being a homemade thing, is actually pretty damn good. Let me put the tin on. I'm going to give you an example. Check this out. Let me slide this on. Okay. So the finish in the product is the thing that speaks out the most to me. If we look down here, you see that all the edges very nicely meet up. He's almost got the expanded metal folds to where they marry up. Very nice fit and finish for a homemade box. On the outside, no doubt about it. Let's go take a quick look for her on the inside. Now if you stand back and you remove yourself and you just look at what's going on. This is a 667 heatsink off an old Texas Star that's been repurposed, redrilled, repurposed, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. This is a nice copper board that was cut out by a Dremel by hand with the old school combiners, old school splitter and combiner circuits. I popped the strap off the top of this transistor, and it is a Toshiba 2290, and these are 62879s. So we should expect to see anywhere from, what, 13 to 1600 watts PEP on 14 volts out of this thing, right? Well, we do. It works just as advertised. That's his preamp circuit. This right here mounted on the side of this relay. Now, look, today's day and age, most guys are so lazy that they won't even build up the preamp circuit and put it on a board. They've got all the legs of all the components twisted together and soldered together. I personally don't build preamps. You want a preamp? Go buy one. I hear Mako makes good ones. To me, they're a weak point in a radio. It's an extra relay to fail, extra parts to fail. But he mounted this up on a board, and he built the thing right. Now, the things that do cause me pause for the cause is this homemade coax. You see this? It's like 22 or 16 gauge wire inside of some braid that's been pulled tight across the wire and soldered down. The thing's working, so I'm going to leave it be. Thing's working, so I'm going to leave it be. Now, John, what I'll do is I'll send along a post-it note, and I'll make sure that you've got the wire diagram for this. I'm pretty sure you've got it already all set up, but I'm going to clarify that. Now, let's go over here and let's take a look for the notes. Joker 2x6, problem number 1. Upon turning the amp on, the RX will not pass through. The amp, after repeatedly flipping the power switch on, off, it finally decides to let the RX pass. Problem number 2. After winning the RX pass through the amp battle, smiley face, I can key the mic, transmit 1, maybe 2 times, then the amp will not transmit at all. After a minute or so, it will transmit again, then stop. I'm using a Galaxy 979 dead key, 2 watts, swinging at 15. Got a 2x8 with the same setup, no problems. Help me! Bro, we did just that. I'm going to cut to some pictures here in just a second. I'm going to show you what I found. It was very, very simple. So... this is what I did to finish and fix the problem. It was sitting, the transistor was orientated like so. And this is the leg that was not connected, and it was just flat out broken off. As soon as I reached in there to even touch it with a soldering iron, the center leg broke off, and the base leg for the ground on this PMP transistor broke off. And then I noticed that the sideband delay was wired inappropriately. The sideband delay was actually going to the ground tab of this. Or no, the input tab of the transistor. So, all in all, you turn the amp on, and it'll lock the relay open. It's like you're constantly in transmit. So you click this on and off. And eventually, that one transistor leg would break contact, this long one, would break contact and allow you to get receive. You'd key on it 1 or 2 times, poof. Then the sideband delay circuit would hold the relay open again. So what I simply did is I went in here and put a brand new 2N222 transistor in here, put a new keying capacitor in line, replaced the diode that goes across the relay, and made sure that the sideband delay wire actually went to the appropriate post, and guess what? Magic. Magic happens. The RF goes in, gets close to some 12 volt current, witchcraft happens, boom, you have more RF. I'm telling you. It's pretty simple. Well, brother, let's get around the band. Let's get the test going. Let's see, do I got everything set up the way I want it to be? Yes, I do. We're going to use the RCI 2950. We're going to put about 25, 30 watts peak power into this little joker, which is all it's going to ever need. And let's see. Use 1000 watt silicon PEP, 1,000-watt slug going forward and average. 5-watt slug in reverse back from the Bird 10,000-watt dummy load. And a 5-watt slug sitting between the radio and the amplifier so we can measure our input tune. 1,000-watt slug. Hello audio. About 20 watts. We got the variable all the way open. And we're running on 14 volts. 14 volts. We're currently putting, let's see here. On this thing I got it set at about a half a watt. Yep, about a half a watt. So bump that dead key up to just about a watt. Let's turn this around so it's reading in reflect. Turn the power back on. 1 watt dead key gets you a 410 watt carrier. Hello audio. It's about as high as you want to go with the dead key. Because if you noticed on the average meter, it was wiggling in the reverse position. So what you're going to want to do is, as you can see, he's got some marks here. We'll back that down so the little red dot and a little red dot meet up. So the 1 watt carrier, and we put this in 2x. Let's make it so they match up again. That's probably about a 10 watt carrier. And seriously, all we did was move it this far. Check it out. Let it rest right there on that black mark with a 1 watt carrier. Hello. So that average meter swinging forward, that's what you want. Put on 2x. Hello audio. Hello audio. So now, as we all know, on the 2x setting, when this thing is set at 2x, this is now reading like a 2,000 watt slug. That hash mark right there between the 40 and the 60 is 50. That's 1,000 watts. So 1,000, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if we're ending up right about here, we're at about 1,600 watts PEP, which is exactly what you want. Hello audio. Hello audio. Which is about what we'd expect out of an amp that is biased Class C. Honest to God. Now, this thing is not biased for sideband. So do not, John, do not ever run this thing on sideband. It is not set up for sideband, even though it's got a sideband switch on the front of it. There's no bias circuit that's in this thing at all. None whatsoever. 100% ground. Here's the chokes that are taking the input transformers 100% to ground. So all this is a relay delay. Keep that in mind. Your preamp is fixed. I already shot you a video of that working, so you know what that's all about. Now, let's turn on our spectrum analyzer. We are currently running. So we're going to turn the amp off. And that's our signal. Now, from one edge of the band, on the bottom side, go in this direction. It's 26 or 23.95883 megahertz. So we're looking at the whole band. Right down the center is where we're transmitting, 27.025. Hold on a second. I got my radio on over here. I don't feel like desensitizing the front end of my little handheld radio I've got to shoot this video. It just wouldn't be worth it. So we're transmitting on 27.025. 27.025. And we're looking, what the spectrum is, or actually where the power is going that's out of this box. Now, as you can see, there's no background noise. We're just running off the antenna and we're looking at the wattage that's leaking out of the cabinet. We're going from 23 megahertz to 32 megahertz straight through. That's the radio all by itself. Hello audio. We're not seeing any side harmonics, so that gives us a baseline. So anything that we see generated by this amp from this point forward is the amp, it's not the radio. Because remember, an amplifier's job 99.999% of the time is just to amplify what's put into it. Okay, so we got a little bit of side harmonics. Each one of those little spikes is extra RF that's being generated by the amplifier. It's not being put out on frequency. Hello, audio. Not too bad. I'd say about maybe 75-80% of the RF is actually on frequency. It is what it is. Just a straightforward test. Just saying. Food for thought. Well, John, your little joker's all fixed up, buddy. I'm going to put the tin on it. I'm going to put it with the other amp that you sent up here, the little messenger that's been up for sale that nobody wants to buy. I don't know why, the little 2x4. It's an awesome little box. Anyhow, I'm going to put it with that. We're going to get this puppy boxed up and sent back home to you. John, I appreciate you sending me this little guy. It's been fun to get working on it. Now, Peekaboo, I know you're going to watch this video. Remember this day. This was my opportunity to smack your dick in the dirt, and I did not. I conducted myself like an adult, which, sir, is more than I can say you have done with me. Gentlemen, my name is BBI. Without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Come check us out, www.bbiamps.com. Of course, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. Oh, and I got 6 on lockdown. Gentlemen, I'll see ya. And I thank you. I don't get to be here without your all support. Bye.